82 games have come and gone. The Avs won 56 of them, setting a new franchise record for both wins and points. But with the regular season now over, Colorado is back to the Stanley Cup playoffs, home of 3 consecutive painful exits, all in the second round. Last year, the Avs ultimately couldn't walk the walk. It left them with unfinished business. Expectations are higher than ever. It's cup or bust season in Denver. There's been a whole season of talking about it. Now it's time for the Avalanche to be about it.
Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche pregame show. We're playing the hype video every day because we need y'all to get hyped, all right? Just be prepared for that.
Well, and I thought it was an excuse for Yahir to not run me in the intro again. And he was like, no, I'm doing the intro first. And he runs
Unbelievable.
the wrong intro. Last time the excuse was, oh, we're in Studio B. It's only in Studio A. Did they switch Studio A? Is this Studio B now?
No, we had a conversation. We're just not going to show the new intro.
Yeah,
It's gone forever.
Uh-huh. Jeez, this
At least
guy.
get Megan's artistic face drawn in the new
get her
one.
a cartoon.
Yeah. True. That's
I don't
true.
know. Yeah, seriously. Thank you, Kiri. Get it together, Yahir.
Game 2, Avs versus Preds. Avs up 1-0 in the series after a blowout win. Are we expecting a more competitive game from Nashville?
Yes, definitely. I don't know, man. I that Nashville team just strikes me as a group that kind of knows what they're up against.
Yeah.
I think you're going to get a much better effort, but I think it's going to take a Herculean effort from Connor Ingram to keep them in this one.
I think it's going to be a little bit closer.
Yeah.
Again, I think that first game jitters on the road definitely led to some bad hockey by the Preds, but I think tonight they're probably going to regroup a little bit. But again, when you just stack these two teams up and you look at that Preds defense, it's not good.
It's tough.
Yeah.
$5.
Yeah.
$5 from Bank saying, wait, do y'all know when the Vegas series starts? Got him.
Bro, I can't even talk about Vegas anymore today. 2 Vegas fans in particular have just
We're coming at ya.
melted my mind. I haven't even. That's like the crazy part is I've sent like 3 total tweets and they just keep coming.
Twitter's a hell of a drug.
Love it.
Social media, bud.
As Jesse mentioned, Connor Ingram getting the start for Nashville. Look, obviously David Rittich was a disaster last night. 2 nights ago, excuse me.
All 3 people that spoke for the Avs today availability referred to it as last night exclusively. Manson, Comfort, and Bednar all referred to it as last night.
Actually just hibernate on days where the Avs don't play. They don't exist. So.
Yeah. So that's crazy.
That's
That's
focus.
Yeah.
Nothing
They're dialed
happens.
in.
Yeah.
Every day that's not a game day is nothing.
It's not a day at all.
Yeah.
And to be fair, the playoff games yesterday proper actually kind of sucked. Like none of the games were good.
They're brutal. I mean, like if you're a fan of one of those teams, you're psyched, right? Because it's just like, sweet, we're winning. But if you're just watching it because you want to watch some good playoff hockey,
So
it ain't it.
let's just jump right into this because Bednar brought up those games last night. The question was asked, what have you guys learned from last year? Game 1 against Vegas, you won. I think it was 7-1, 7-2.
Yeah.
Yep.
What have you guys learned from last year that you carry forward? And Jared Bednar said, I don't have to look at last year. All I got to do is watch last night. He said 3 of the 4 teams that lost game 1 blew out their opponent in game 2.
Yep.
And he just kind of started talking like teams took their foot off the gas. Again, paraphrasing here, but he basically said like, we saw teams win game 1 and lose focus on game 2. Yep. We cannot lose focus on game 2. I mentioned it in the post-game show. Every single one of them in their post-game availability 2 nights ago said, yep, it's great. We got to focus on game 2.
Agreed. Y'all here getting bribed now to keep Jesse off of the intro.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, but Jesse's banned from the intro. $2 from Pin King. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I was going to say, well...
Were you on the night 1, game 1?
He was.
I was on the post
game. Yeah.
No, like the intro.
Yeah.
Was the intro
They played the right intro
Did they?
on post game. Yeah, they did.
Oh, superstitious.
Post games only, Jesse. Post games only. I think it's a great point. I think we saw Edmonton blow out LA, which more than anything felt like Jonathan Quick remembering he's old.
Yeah.
But the Leafs game, I think, is the perfect one where that Leafs team was not focused at all.
No.
And the catchphrase is, you're not in trouble until you lose at home, right?
Yeah. Well,
Avs have the chance to avoid that.
Well, the Avs still hold home ice advantage right now. Tampa stole it back last night against Toronto. You want to go into Nashville still holding home ice. Don't give it away in game 2. Because to me, that Toronto team, and what's mind-blowing about that, and again, I guess we're going to learn here in 30, 40 minutes if the Avs learned any different lessons, but it's crazy that Toronto team, with all of the heartbreak they've had in the playoffs in recent years, that it still looked like they got caught looking too far ahead after game 1.
Yeah.
Yep. It doesn't take a lot to throw you off the tracks, for sure. In this game, the one change for the Avalanche, Logan O'Connor coming in for Andrew Cogliano. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, but Cogliano providing fourth line, provided a shorthanded goal the other night.
Yep.
Are these big shoes to fill for Logan, or is this keep it simple, play energy?
I think this is just the rotation that you're going to see with the Avalanche, right? Cogliano, again, those are bonus points. We always talk about that.
Yep.
In the playoffs, your bottom 6 has to produce. He did. That's great. I don't think that's going to change what Bednar and the coaching staff's going to do throughout this series.
Yeah.
They have a rotation probably already set, and that's what they're going to stick with.
Well, and you can tell by the fact that he isn't wanting to give his lineups.
Brutal goal against Pittsburgh just happened.
He's, it's Louis Domingue.
Look at off their own.
Yeah. Okay, yes. Just for the Penguins in general. Yeah. I was like, cut Louis Domingue some slack. He's still digesting his spicy pork. But I think you're spot on, Blais. I think they know what they're wanting to do for the most part, but I think they are relishing the fact that they have all kinds of different looks, and they don't want to give anything away to Nashville before they have to.
Yeah.
Makes our jobs a little bit more annoying. But, I get it. You in the playoffs, you have to find any advantage you can. Yeah. And Blais, I think you're spot on. They have an advantage, and they've got a rotation that's going to change the look of their team, and they're going to play to it.
Yep.
I think we're just going to keep this one rolling here.
Yeah.
It sums up our next segment, and Jared Bednar versus John Hynes.
Yes, I was going to say, and the other thing interesting about LOC, we all talked about this on the show. He's got a third line plan. He's got a fourth line plan that don't necessarily have anything to do with each other.
Yeah, sorry. No, great sentiment. It is worth mentioning. There's a reason Alex Newhook's not in the lineup tonight. $5 keep Jesse off the intro with contributions to the boat fund.
This is great.
I'm glad this is starting.
I expect some counter donations for Jesse on the intro.
Are you kidding? Now that it's been up there once, I guess keep them coming at that rate.
But
yeah.
Look, you're Jared Bednar after game 1, and your strategy is just play like that again.
Yeah.
Just do more of that thing. And you're John Hynes, and you're borderline burn the whole thing down and start over.
So here's a genuine question. If you're John Hynes, what adjustments are what adjustments can you make?
It's like the one major thing that we pointed out on multiple shows, I think at this point, is they were so unprepared for the Avs defense jumping up into the offensive zone. But if you're going to adjust for that, that means they have to sag off the blue line, which is not a defensive structure that they've played very much.
Right.
So the question is, to me, can John Hynes implement that new adjustment or system, or is Nashville just not capable of playing that way?
So in that vein, I want to ask you guys another question here. An optional morning skate for Nashville today.
Okay.
Does that seem like a little bit of a white flag? Because, anybody that watched that game 1 is like, whoa, they have a lot of work to do to get back in the series. No practice yesterday, optional skate today.
But you're not going to implement anything new in there? Are you just
Yeah.
saying more of like, hey, let's get our heads on straight?
No,
like,
no. I mean, because to me, like I'm sitting there, I'm like, yeah, you got to go through a lot in your film sessions, but I don't know, like. To Rudo's point, if you're having to change the way you structurally defend in the D zone, I feel like you'd at least want to get some skates on the ice and go through those motions. Because if you're just talking that through in a video session, I don't know. I'm not trying to get carried away here. There's a lot of series left, but
I do wonder, and you brought this up in the weeks leading up to the playoffs, Nashville has been going full bore for the last 2 months.
yeah.
And I wonder if they're just not even close to 100%. Yeah. If they just don't have it left in the tank. And that's not to say they won't come out and give it their all, but we saw just how many guys the Avs rested in the last week of the season.
Right.
Nashville didn't get that luxury.
Right.
So
Well, not having your starting goalie is
Yeah.
a big issue, right?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, like, I mean, I think the Preds definitely were underwater, like, right? It's that Mike Tyson quote, like, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Yeah.
They got punched in the mouth right away, and they didn't know how to respond to it whatsoever.
Oh, it's great.
And that's what you saw. It was poor defensive play. Like, if you go back and watch that game, I rewatched that game, and they were Swiss cheese on defense.
Yeah, it was
like
it was
guys
genuinely
were just
brutal.
blowing past.
That's-
Mikko Rantanen blew past.
Yep.
Roman
Yossi.
Yeah.
I mean, Elcom looked lost at times.
Yeah, seriously.
And like, you know, this is an A seed playing a first seed, and what you have is an Avalanche team was when they get possession of the puck in the offensive zone, they're deadly. They're moving around. You lose guys, and it makes it easy to look like this team doesn't have good defense.
Right.
The struggle for me with Nashville is, yes, their defense was porous as hell, but they struggled to maintain possession in the offensive zone too.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, and here's the other part that we haven't, I actually don't think touched on enough. The polar opposite for the Avs, the preparation,
It was on point.
the effort, and the cohesiveness of that team. Where, I mean, like, passes were on the tape. Everyone, I mentioned it on the postgame show. It was either 6-0 or 7-1, and in the arena they just panned down the Avs bench. Every guy is leaned forward, like
Laser
locked in,
focus,
talking, talking back and forth, pointing. And it's 7-1, 6-0.
Yep.
Like, they had every reason to just take their foot off the gas, and every guy is just dialed in.
Well, and that's what we've been talking about all year, right? Is like the Avs love to just like shit pump a team,
Yeah.
and then let off the gas, and then
right.
they score
and
a few
they
goals.
didn't. It's 6-1, and the dude everyone loves to talk about how soft he is. Andrei Burakovsky is below the offensive goal line making a play to get it to 7-1 Avs.
Right. And it's just like, as much as Nashville had an off night, you do have to give credit to the Avs, and we're going to get a good answer tonight. Was that an off night for the Preds, or are the Avalanche just too much for them to handle?
Do you think John Hynes is in any type of trouble? Like, I think what he accomplished with this team throughout the regular season was pretty good for what they have as a team. But it feels like you get judged so harshly in the playoffs. I mean, it's Jared Bednar, right? Like, it's great that you had a great regular season, but you can only get across the second round, and now, the talk was like it's either cup or bust or get fired or whatever it is.
I don't know how you can blame John Hynes for this season.
Yeah.
The Preds got career years out of everyone important, and they ran into the Avalanche in the play. And this series is far from done. I don't want to act overconfident.
No,
but
there's two teams on the ice. I mean, who knows what happens
if the
tonight.
Predators do go on to lose this series, like, if you're John Hynes, you're like, yeah, what do you want me to do?
Right, yeah. I think it'd be one of those things where I don't think he'd be in trouble at all for next year, but it depending on how this series go. If they come back in this series and stretch it to 6 or 7 good games, then no, he's
not. Yeah.
He's actually probably being celebrated. If the rest of the series goes the way it has the potential to, and it just gets away from them, and the Avs end up sweeping them or beating them in 5 games handily, I still think they bring him back like, wow, he did a lot of great things, and he didn't have UC Saros.
Right.
But again, if they just get their doors blown up the way that Arizona did a couple years ago, then you're sitting there like, okay, That wasn't just like we didn't have our goalie.
The difference between Saros and Rittich or Ingram isn't 7 goals.
Right. And like, if he just gets that brutally out-coached, then I think it's one of those things like, hey, you're back next year, but we need to see a step. We can't get blown out in the first round next year. You need to have a competitive series.
And so can you judge a coach on his away games, especially in the playoffs?
Yeah, absolutely, because that's actually when I think you need to
you
coach.
judge him
I think it's
more.
more,
I agree.
But
yeah.
I'm more in the realm of like when you're at home, you've got that. You got the first change, like right. You get to decide what the matchups are going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where you kind of understand how much this coach means to the team versus on the way. Obviously, there's ways that you can hide guys and get the matchups that you want here and there.
I hear what you're. It's two different forms of coaching. There's in the moment coaching, which is making those matchup decisions, and then there's systemic coaching,
right,
which you rely on a lot more in away games for sure. And personally, I think John Hynes' systems kind of suck, but we'll see. We'll let the play decide that ultimately. A little birdie told me Blais has like a billion bets tonight.
A Billy?
A Billy.
Is that a BW?
William.
Whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, I've got a few. Well, there was a parlay that I wanted to take. It's the playoffs. What's up? All right, let's start with the regular ones. Let's pull this one up here. By the way, if you're using DraftKings, there is a 50% odds boost on some of these. So when you're seeing some of these, like the last one, Makar, that's a bump up with a 50% boost on there.
Actual free money with a boost?
Yep.
Seriously.
Getting a little crazy with it here. I've got Kadri with the first goal at plus 1,500.
Here we go.
After that, the Players Tribune piece he put out.
Phenomenal. Holy shit.
I love that, by the way.
So good.
I love him just owning up to, like, yeah, I've done stuff in the past that's hurt my
If you
team.
haven't read it, go read it right now.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's great.
So, yeah, I mean, after that, I was like, let's take him to go. I've got Mikko with a half an assist after I got here. Listening to Rudo, listening to a few other people, they feel like it's a big Mikko night.
Yeah. Everyone's feeling Mikko tonight.
Yep. And then, again, Makar.
The freest bet on DraftKings, we all know.
We saw what happened last night, 2 nights ago. Well, look at me, I'm an Av.
Roman who? And also might be a psychopath, Kale Makar, as we're steadily finding out.
No, that's great. I love a man that's just in the shit with a huge grin on his face. That's a man that loves hockey.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then we got the parlay.
Okay, same game parlay. I'm going with puck line over 1.5.
Okay.
Mac anytime goal and a Kadri anytime goal. So if you think Kadri is going to be hot,
ride it.
plus 575.
So we'd like him on the first goal, but we're all right with him scoring
Anytime,
pretty much
yeah.
anytime.
That's kind of I'm like ahead. Not really hedging, but hedging my bets.
Take it where you can get it, for sure. Okay, so go make roughly $1 billion on Blais bets tonight.
It's yacht time.
Yeah.
Yacht time. You got to be betting big dollars to make yacht money. Are we all predicting an Avs win tonight? Are we all feeling good? I know we feel it's closer, but
I think it's 5-2 with an empty netter. So 4-2 up till the end. The Avs punch in an empty netter is what I'm feeling.
I had 4-2.
4-2, yeah. So same, but different.
Yeah. I can see the empty netter, but I'm just looking at the past Avs history on hitting an empty net. It's not good.
All right.
What do you think?
I think it's like a 4-1 or 5-1, but I think it's like 2-1 after 2 periods.
Yeah.
I think it's a close game, and then the Avs take care of business in the third.
Yeah. All right, well, I love you guys. I got to go to the rink.
Go
Let's wrap
work.
this
Go
shit
to
up.
work.
Yeah.
We're out of here. Thank you, everyone. Watch along coming up in 5 minutes. I got to drain my walnut bladder, but after that, we'll be live.
It sounded so much more suggestive than it actually was.
Get to the game, Jessica.
We're out of here. I'll talk to you in a
Fly
couple
away.
of minutes.